Hey YouTube, it's Erin, and I am the Handbag Housewife, and I'm back again with another video. Today's video is going to tackle the topic of brands like Marc Jacobs and Longchamp that for some reason luxury YouTubers think are okay to be part of their handbag collections. Now, lately, there have been some videos out there as to what is luxury and what is not. And a lot of folks out there have some disdain for certain brands and would say those aren't luxury. But I find it interesting that with both Marc Jacobs and with Longchamp, that the highest of the high luxury collectors, those who like Hermes and Chanel, they still find a place for both Marc Jacobs, the tote bags, as well as Longchamp Pliage bags in their collections. Now, many of us may have gotten started with our love for Marc Jacobs, the tote bags, because of YouTube. And for me, I think the first time I was sort of influenced was by Minx for All. Minnie loves Marc Jacobs, the tote bags. And after she started showing them, I think is when I maybe acquired my first one. One of my most popular videos of all time is of my collection of Marc Jacobs, the tote bags. I have had several, and I will link that video down below in case you haven't seen it. Right now, I have two. I have the true red color, and I have the cement color. And if you wonder where the chains came from that are on these two bags, they are both by Next Fashion. I have a discount code. It's HBHW20 if you want to pick up a chain to deck out your Marc Jacobs, the tote bags. But at one time, I had Orchid Haze, I had Argan Oil, and then I also had Rose Dust. So I had 4 of the leather, the tote bag minis, which are now the smalls. Before I got into collecting the leather versions, I collected some fabric versions. I had the brown rice multi, which looked like it had paint splattered on it. And I also had the denim in black that had the patchwork. And those 2 bags I sold first out of the Marc Jacobs bags that I sold, because I just decided that the fabric bags weren't for me. And the denim one, the patchwork one, I don't think the handles were trimmed with real leather, and I didn't like the feeling of them when I grabbed the bag. Now, as far as the brown rice multi, I just decided I liked the leather counterparts better. Then I realized I just don't use tote styles all that often, so I went ahead and sold all but the cement later to fall victim to Marc Jacobs' charm yet again and buy the true red to match the 2 sports teams that I tend to cheer on the most. Actually, the 3 sports teams. My kids' sports team, the University of Kansas, and the Kansas City Chiefs. So my question is why is it that luxury YouTubers tend to gravitate towards only the tote bags and not the other bags that Marc Jacobs has? There are several other styles that are out there that Marc Jacobs has created that have a lot of appeal, but yet we all buy the same style. Now, we buy different sizes of it, but we all gravitate towards the tote bags. So one of the styles recently that has caught my eye has been the St. Marc, and it is a really cool bag. I wish it came in more colors, and that may be why we tend to gravitate towards the tote bag, because of all the rich, vibrant colors as well as neutrals that it comes in. During the denim craze, when I was thinking a lot about the Coach Tabby 26 and the fail that I had with that, I was looking at the Marc Jacobs St. Marc bag in the denim and was very tempted by it, but ended up going with a different option, which I haven't shown you yet. It is actually in this bag. My husband and my boys bought it for me for Mother's Day, but I'm not allowed to take it out of the bag until Mother's Day. So I don't know if you all have noticed this. It's from 24S. It has been sitting rent-free behind me in my closet for a little bit now. It was on sale, told the hubby about it. He told me to buy it for myself for Mother's Day from the boys. So it's sitting back there. I'm not going to give you any more hints than that. So the Saint Tropez is a style that has tempted me. There's another style that Marc Jacobs does that reminds me a lot of the Louis Vuitton Papillon or Papillon, and it is called the Duffel. It seems to come in some really nice shades and have the same gorgeous pebbled leather that the tote bag has whenever you do pick up a leather option. So that's another style that I wonder, why does this not have the same sort of popularity as the tote bag? Is it because the tote bag is just so classic, or is it a influencer-driven thing that makes the tote bag the only acceptable option in a luxury handbag collection? Is it that we can't exercise free will and pick up other pieces because we worry what others might think? This is sort of what I'm wondering. Why is it that luxury YouTubers from around the world find collecting the tote bag by Marc Jacobs to be acceptable, but yet they don't explore his options further, because he really does have so many great options. There's a newer one out that reminds me a lot of, I think, Bottega, that's called the Sack. Maybe a Bottega or even a Saint Laurent eye care bag or Icari bag. It just is a great big open sack. It's called, I think, the Sack, and it comes in 2 sizes, but the larger one is the one I'm relating most to, that Saint Laurent bag. So all of these styles, except for maybe the St. Marc, they're made out of the same delicious looking, what I believe to be full grain leather. Now, I don't know for sure because I didn't go read all the details, but the tote bags are made out of full grain leather, which means that they are, the top part of the hide hasn't been like heavily sanded or anything like that. And they feel amazing. So I think those other styles would feel amazing too. But yet the YouTubers out there, both those who love luxury and contemporary, consistently tend to go for the tote bag and not the other styles. My first introduction to Marc Jacobs was through the Snapshot. I was like obsessed with it, but it was too small for me. And so I never got one. But there's also a newer style that I was not familiar with called the Slingshot. And it looks like a little bit bigger than the Snapshot, but it's a shoulder bag. And that one has my curiosity piqued. I do like the logo in the middle, how it is basically it looks like an O, but it's 2 J's that meet up together. And I feel like that's subtle, and it's kind of a quiet type luxury, which is the opposite of what this is, with it saying the tote bag and Marc Jacobs on it loud and proud in the center. So some of the other luxury YouTubers that I watch, that I've seen with the tote bags, include Amber Ashley, also Lux Purse Love, Mel and Melbourne, Handbagaholic, and that's just to name a very small amount of the totality. There's an eclipse term for you, of the total amount that I have come across when I've been watching YouTube. Is it purely the influence that has been created around this bag? Is it the feeling of the bag is just so much better than all their other bags, or the design is so much better? I really don't know. I have a feeling a lot of it is influence, but you would think once somebody tried this bag, they would branch out to the other styles, and there just isn't a lot of that happening. One thing I will tell you is that this style is really good. Chloe makes a very popular bag called the Woody Tote, and I've considered getting it many times. And I always just go back to this and think, this is designed better. There's more space inside. It doesn't dent in on the sides. It has a wonderful pebbled leather that feels luscious, while the Chloe has a smooth, what looks to be kind of stiff leather. The way the strap attaches on the sides is better. The Chloe, it's a really, really skinny strap, and it doesn't attach as nicely positioned, at least, as the Marc Jacobs, the tote bag. And I can't remember if the Chloe has a zipper or not, but that's another thing I love about the Marc Jacobs, the tote bag. For me, the reasons why I have really only experimented with the tote bag itself has to do with the leather, the fact that I was influenced to pick up that style and I liked it. And I think there's some fear, for me at least, of trying other styles that I have never seen in person and I'm not sure if I'll like, the hassle of having to deal with it if I don't like it. I kind of think that a lot of people like Marc Jacobs because he used to be a designer for Louis Vuitton. And so that sort of makes his bags tied to Louis Vuitton in a way. And maybe that's why luxury collectors don't mind having some of the Marc Jacobs pieces from his own line in their handbag collections. But who knows? I do know that I currently like that St. Marc bag, but yet for some reason, I just have never jumped and bought it. And when I looked at it a little closer today, I realized that it really dents in on the sides, which eats up a ton of space. And that's one of my pet peeves with handbags. So for that one, it is a design issue that would definitely hold me back. But I'm going to try to be more open-minded in the future and not let the YouTube world influence me so much and put me in a box that keeps me away from other designs by a designer whose bags that I really do enjoy. So I think I've talked enough about Marc Jacobs. There are other styles, of course. Those are just the ones that came to mind first for me. But let's move on and talk about Longchamp a little bit. When I started my channel, I was absolutely crazy for the Longchamp extra small Le Pliage top handle totes and collected many of them. And I have 3 now. I still love the style. I just don't want to have such a vast amount of any one bag in my collection. I just counted my bags and I think I'm around 76 if I don't count the 2 that I got from the fundraiser I went to the other night. And I'm not sure those are permanent in my collection. We'll just have to see. But this style is a great little style. And when I say little, it's little, but man, it's like a clown cart. It holds so much. There are a lot of luxury YouTubers out there that think it's okay to have Longchamp as part of their collection. And this little guy has been making more and more appearances, maybe not in the mock croc, but this style has been making more and more appearances in the last year on the luxury channels than ever before. Before, the hot commodity was the Le Pliage shoulder tote, and this one is from the Neo line. Luxury YouTubers seem to love to use this for travel, and I was exposed to it right when I got onto YouTube. It seemed like it was something that everybody had, and therefore I had to have it too, and so I do. And you know what? It is amazing for travel, and I love having it as part of my collection. And what I find really interesting is the luxury YouTubers love having this as part of their collection too, and they use it before all of their other totes, it seems, when they're traveling. And I think that's because it's lightweight. You can cram it under a seat in front of you and not worry too much, and it still looks nice and elegant. But if you buy a bag like this, why wouldn't you, if you love it that much, explore and find other bags within Longchamp that you like? And that's just not something that I have seen that much on YouTube, where luxury YouTubers are picking up other styles from the brand Longchamp to any great extent. Some of the other styles to consider with Longchamp that I think should perhaps have more popularity include the Fullanay line, because the leather on that line is just incredible. And I have a pouch from that line. I'm telling you, the leather is to die for. And there are bags that look like, or a lot like, the Hermes Evelyn from that line. But yet again, the Le Pliage line is much more popular. It is also much less expensive. The other line that I think deserves some attention is the mailbox bag by Longchamp. That bag, it reminds me a lot of like a Picotin or a tote style bag, but yet it has its own unique twist that is coined by Longchamp, as opposed to being a copy of anything else. And so those are two of the styles that I think deserve perhaps a bit more attention than they garner. The Pliage line definitely steals the show, at least on the social media that I've seen. I believe it was Kat L who picked up one of these, I think in the small size, and she loved it so much she started using it as her everyday bag. And Kat L has an amazing handbag collection that has been evolving more and more towards Hermes, but yet she was loving on Longchamp with a passion not so long ago. You could almost consider Longchamp borderline luxury if you look at their leather bags, because they get quite pricey, but the ones that steal the show, at least on YouTube, are from the Pliage line. Another one that's extremely popular, again from the Pliage line, is the backpack. This one is one that I bought because of YouTube, and I'm telling you, it's an amazing purchase. These little backpacks are so fabulous when you are on a trip at an amusement park, or even if you just want a bag that you don't have to worry about when you go places. And so with all that said, I just was sitting here in my house thinking today what to do a video about. And it struck me that with these two brands, it really seems like people just buy like two things. They either buy a Pliage bag if it's Longchamp, or they buy a tote bag if it's Marc Jacobs. And both brands have so much more to offer than that. It just perplexed me as to why the brands almost seem like they're constricted to only selling those particular styles. Kind of like Louis Vuitton tends to sell more canvas than anything else. It could be said that happens because it's the cheapest, or it's the most recognizable and people want others to know what they're carrying. Or you could say it's because it's most durable or lightweight. You could say some of those things about Longchamp Pliage. It's the cheapest, it's lightweight, it's durable, it's carefree. A lot like you could say about Louis Vuitton canvas. When it comes to the tote bags with Marc Jacobs, I think that there is something to be said for the simplicity of the design. It is just a tote bag with an opening. And I think that when you get into adding pockets and compartments, it gets overwhelming and people just want simplicity. And when it is a bag that has some simplicity to it, even though it's full grain leather, it's still not super heavy, which is really nice. The price point is so good, and it's an excellent way to add a pop of color to your wardrobe that you might not wear all that often without breaking the bank. I think that'll do it for this video. Let me know if you have ideas as to the reasons why those of us on YouTube seem to only buy Pliage bags from Longchamp and the tote bags from Marc Jacobs. I'm sure there are many more reasons I didn't cover. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting for? Do it and ring the notification bell so that you are notified of future exciting content such as this. Also, go find me on Instagram. The name there is the same. It's the @ then the handbag housewife, all lowercase. You can DM me there, or you can email me at thehandbaghousewife@gmail.com. If I don't hear from you, I will see you again real soon. Take care and have a fabulous day. Bye.